Okay, I finished detailing this wall component, and I'll go through how I did it. I wanted to at least be able to draw a conclusion here to, let me bring up the other. So this is out of that brochure that we were looking at. And, you know, the salient things about this are the sealant that's happening at the top where the gypsum wall is touching the other member, the insulation, and then this profile of the RC1 resilient channel. And so I've just done a really, actually just a simplified detail for us. And that's what we're looking at here. So a few things I had to do to make it look this way. One is I changed the scale from from whatever it was to 3 inches to a foot. That gave a nice readout of the fill of the drywall. And I changed the thin lines to thick lines. And I just hand did this detail from a snippet of what an RC1 channel would be like. And let's see if I have that handy here. Here it is. Let's see if I can drag it on the screen. I grabbed this screenshot. So it's about 1.25 inches, and it does look like it's a 1/2 inch thick. So I just made a little facsimile of that section, not to get overly carried away with detailing for this project. So that's my rendition of that RC1 channel. Any important things, like I say in the thing, are this acoustic sealant that's happening at the top, the labeling of the 3 inches of sound insulation, the requirement that we're using 5/8 inch drywall and not 1/2 inch to get to that level, that we're showing that there's metal studs being used. They're 3 5/8, and they're 24 inches on center. They're not closer. That would affect the amount of transmission that happened. And the same thing with the RC1 channel. And if I bring that RC1 channel back on again, you can see the idea here is to, they have these openings here, and it's to really lighten up the mechanical contact or surface area between the mounting of the drywall and the attachment to the stud system. So all of this, this RC1 channel is specifically designed to reduce noise energy transfer. So I've labeled the ceiling, and I think that's a complete detail. So if you don't know how to do insulation, there is an insulation tool here, and I just have to find it. It's under annotate, I believe. Grab the insulation tool and just start drawing up. And I don't know why it's not drawing it. Let's see what's going on here. Insulation. Maybe it needs to be in a wall assembly to understand it. And you can bring it up. You can change its width and its position. So that's relatively straightforward. And if it's not looking right, remember you may have thin and thick lines turned off. I've also added just a little hint of what's happening at the top here. There's a top hat of the steel framing channel that would be showing up here. And that's not readily apparent in the wood framing, but it does show up in some of the details of the some of the other details that are on that product brochure guide. So this is what I consider the standard for that, the minimum standard for that detail. And if you're so inclined to improve upon it, go ahead. So let's look at some other things that I've done since. The other thing I wanted to add to this is I added furniture. And my reference was from Steelcase. I grabbed a whole bunch of Steelcase furniture, and I can open that file up and show you where I gathered it from. But the reason for populating the room with furniture in order to help it read better is also to indicate that we're anticipating that this is a contributing factor to what the quality of sound will be in the room. All this furniture that I'm using here is basically made out of fabric, so it has natural absorption capabilities to it. And I think anyone knows the difference between a room without furniture, if you've ever moved out of an apartment or something, how noisy a room can sound once the furniture has been moved out of it. So furniture plays an important role in the acoustical performance of the space. So I've added that furniture in, and I think I could probably, let's see if I can find that for us, that file that I'm going to put in. I don't have them all on my file handy. Oh, yes, I do. That's this file right here, I believe. Might be. Let me click into it here and see what we get. Give a second for that to upgrade. Sorry for the wait time, but this is the file I'll include, and there's the furniture that I grabbed that's already been relatively simple, lightweight furniture that you can then place and arrange into space. So the next thing, now that we've created our detail, we've added all of our architectural elements, we have a detail, let's go through, we have a detail, we have a section of the wall where we can label and identify things, and we have some views created of the building. We can start to pull it together as a presentation sheet based on acoustics. And I'll work a little bit on that, and then I'll pull it all together in a final presentation video clip.